I had this friend in primary school. He was my best friend, actually. I mean, when you're a kid, I think you just choose someone who likes the same stuff as you, and you latch on for dear life. We used to do everything together, actually. Like, literally everything, just the two of us. And at the end of, like, year 6, he got really into sports, and that was fine, you know? Like, it wasn't affecting our relationship at all. But then I think he started to gain a sort of social conscience. I think most people get around, like, 10 or 11, and he started to hang out with a lot of other kids in the village, and I mean, the village was built around our primary school, and they all lived there, and I didn't, so I sort of ended up getting left out a bit. That's not his fault, it's no one's fault. This is just how it is. But then slowly he started to hang out with me less in school, afterwards, during the week. He began to seek out relationships with girls, and that's the point where I feel we went our separate ways. It's not like we had an argument or any kind of big dramatic moment. We just began to slip. Started to hear about him, you know, from old mutual friends or newcomers who happen to know him. And honestly, it sounds like he hasn't matured a day. He just sounds like the same kid that began to drift away ages ago. And I think I got out right when I was supposed to. Or maybe a little bit after, but I still look back fondly. Like, we both had to grow side by side to an extent until it's our time to do our own thing. I think the hard part is just knowing when.
You know those, like, posts on Instagram where it's just like, if you didn't hate your best friend when you first meet them, are they really your best friend? That was me and my friend in primary school. They were like the weird kind of person, and then we became friends because we were both the weird. I definitely feel like I'm a person that doesn't know themselves very much, and I can't tell when I'm acting like myself in front of people. I think there's very few people that I can actually say I felt like myself in front of, and Amy was definitely one of the very few people. I think as we got older and life started becoming a bit more hectic, I came to realise that my friend was very distant with their emotions, and in general, even though we had been friends for years, we used to hang out here a lot, and we would look at all the initials written on these stones and stuff and think, I wonder how many of these people are actually still together. On top of those rocks there's like a small hole thing, and it was just full of Monster Can energy drinks, and you would sit there and it would be the Monster Can stew.
Hey, Dad! Can you get down this way? Come on. Up here we go. Down here. Oh, I see a little sausage dog.
During lockdown we didn't end up talking that much because obviously we weren't allowed to go out, and then we went to sixth form, and even though we could meet up again, obviously not as much, we still didn't end up meeting up together with that much, and the friendship group we were part of at the time it started drifting apart. Now they're one of those friends that you'll occasionally message saying, hey, how are you? And say, oh, we should definitely meet up, and never meet up. Thinking back on it, I probably wasn't the best during our friendship. I don't think I was very good to them. But I definitely still miss the friendship that we had, because it was a long one, and again, it was one of the few friendships that I felt that I could be myself in. It kind of sucks that it's ended, but that's what happens. Trying to think.
So Charlie was a kid in my village where I grew up. I've known him since I was in kindergarten. He went to the same kindergarten, but we were both really quite quiet. And so we didn't really talk much. We had that sort of childish, unspoken thing where you don't need to talk to play. So we went to the same primary school together as we did. Our parents started talking to each other. They invited us over each other's houses. I don't remember much of it, but I remember having fun. And while a lot of the other boys bothered me, it was always nice to me. When it was the final year together at our primary school, I really wanted to ask him to dance, quite friendly and quite funny, but I never did, and we never ended up saying proper goodbye, because when you're kids you don't really overthink it too much in the same way. And then we went to different schools. We got on the same bus, but sort of as the weeks progressed, we stopped just talking to each other. We just sat together in silence. We lived quite quiet and accepting silence, that you'd sit together, and we slowly started just not sitting together at all, sit behind each other, and then just completely moved and sound of the decks.
I think that's like the main challenge is like with digital is like literally everything else about it is so much better, but it's just like the colours, which is why like so many people like films as well spend so much money like shooting on film. It's just because like nothing really compares, and like all the editors don't have to go through all this crap of like trying to like just mess with the colours until they do the right thing. It's like it's a bit extra to do it on just individual photographs. Like usually you do it for like a whole section of footage, but sometimes when the colours just aren't working, like it's just like you've got to mess around with like the midtones, the shadows and the highlights. I don't use it very often, so I'm not like super proficient with it. I kind of just like drag the bars along and kind of see what looks good, to be honest. Because I did like this one, because like it's kind of like you get like the idea of like going like down a path and like kind of like stepping back and like looking at the path, like trying to look at your options and stuff, which is like to do with like the theme of like what I'm exploring, which is like obviously like being on like the rocks with a friend, and like you don't know where you stand and you don't know whether to like forgive them or like have a conversation about it, or just kind of like leave that friendship. Kind of like there's like brambles as well, so like are you gonna get like hurt if you go down that path? I guess these ones like with the signs are like quite good because they're like about direction and about like, you know, like a visual representation of like making a decision about something. Do you stay friends with a person, try and make the relationship work, or is it just like do you just keep getting like kind of disappointed by them and just like, you know what, we're both going to uni, we're both going different ways, like let's just like kind of end it there, because like you don't want to keep getting hurt by the same person over and over again. She keeps kind of letting me down, so I'm like do I have a line? Like I don't know, I'm not sure about this one, but like I quite liked like the parallel lines, because I think again it like goes into that theme a lot, like the idea of like being parallel to one another, which I feel like is very like accurate to me and my friend, because you're sort of like aligned with another person but you feel like very different to them, and you can like just kind of see them like moving off into a different direction, I guess. Like I do definitely miss her, because like it's like we used to get on so well, but it's also like if I keep being friends with her, am I being like kind of, am I sort of betraying myself in a way, like kind of setting myself up to keep getting kind of like hurt? It's just sad because I never thought that it would like end up like this, like because in my head we were always going to be like friends for a really long time, and that's like always what we used to talk about, is like, you know, like when we both had kids and like just like all those plans that you have with people that kind of go out the window. I think that's like a really sad thing that happens. I think when we had like the falling out, it was just like I was just like, I can never trust her again. Being friends with someone at such a young age makes it harder to not be friends with them anymore. They've grown up with you and like you have so many memories together. Like in the holidays when I haven't seen her, like it feels weird, because for years and years and years, like we would see each other like every single day in the holidays. So it feels weird, like if I'm bored at home, I'm like, well, why am I seeing her right now? And I'm like, oh yeah. It's like almost like muscle memory in a way. Like I think like I'm just trying to be more like positive, like with myself, and like letting other people like treat me badly. Like I just like it's kind of like almost like self-sabotage in a way, because like if you don't stand up for yourself, then it's like how you can have any good relationships. I don't know what I'm gonna end up doing. Like I really have no idea. I think that's kind of like the worst thing about it. It's just not knowing. There's no like right or wrong thing to do. You just kind of gotta like trust your intuition.